Rula Amin monitoring events for us in Beirut. First of all, we've seen so many refugees trying to get into Turkey from Jazeera al-shughur. What about the people trying to get out of these two towns? Where are they going? What's happening to them? Do you know anything?
Well, they are going to nearby villages, and some are trying to get to the borders. However, not all these people who are heading to the border want to cross into Turkey, because some feel it's enough to get to the border. If the threat becomes even more real, they will cross. Because if they cross into Turkey, then they have to think of how they go back. Life in refugee camps is not something that people aspire to, so they're trying to avoid that fate. For now, they're leaving their villages with very little to carry, and they are very afraid.
Why would the state media come out and say specifically they want to cut off the road between Aleppo and Hama? Hama, of course, resonates so much with the Syrian people because anywhere between 10 and 40,000 people killed there in 1982 by government forces. What would the strategy be here?
Well, it seems from our observations is that the army is moving in that province of Idlib. It's in the northwestern part of the country. The government claims that that has been a focal point for the work and the base for many of the Salafist, even armed Muslim groups, and that they want to clear it and they want to clean it from these armed gangs. This is the government's version. They're using these tactics of cutting off the roads to make sure there isn't a huge influx of refugees, because they don't want to create problems for their neighbors where it becomes an issue that's taken to the Security Council. At the same time, they are it's been like this for weeks now, it's not new, that they have many roadblocks along those roads between Hama, between Latakia, between Hims. They're trying to isolate certain areas, go into the villages, clear them up, arrest whom they want to arrest, create whatever fear they want, and then they move on to the next target. So now there's even the activists and the opposition, they have a list of cities that they say their turn will come. And that's, it seems, the government's strategy.
In terms of moves by the Assad regime itself and those close to it, there's been a statement from a very influential man, I think he's Assad's cousin, Rami Makhlouf, that he's no longer going to be in business because so many of the protesters had accused him and by association the government of corruption. Is this a cosmetic move, or do you think it might appease the protesters in some way?
It's a significant move. It's significant because Rami Makhlouf has become a symbol for the corruption in Syria. He has become a symbol of how the Assad family has used its exclusive grip on power to have more monopoly over power, over the judicial system, over businesses. And by asking Makhlouf, or by forcing Makhlouf, or by Makhlouf volunteering to take that step, some people are seeing it as a first step. They are hoping it's the tip of an iceberg of more concessions to come. We have heard news that President Assad in the coming week, maybe even as early as Sunday, is going to make major announcement of more concessions. Now, some of the activists and the opposition figures yesterday already dismissed the move. They said it's too late. They don't know even how much money does this guy have. How would they know that it's true that he's going to give up these businesses? And they said already more than 1,300 people killed. How would his resignation from the business actually compensate these families? But at the same time, other opposition figures based in Syria, and we have been seeing this trend in the past 2 weeks, have been outlining what they call a political solution to this crisis. They are concerned that the crisis is becoming very bloody. There's more acknowledgement that there are armed groups. They're saying now we have to find a way to find a safe exit to the regime so that we can resolve this with the least blood possible.
Rula, thank you very much indeed.